Oh, sorry.
Damn.
Distracted. By the way, for all of you who are wondering, oh, Jordan looks very nice in a scarf. Well, yes, scarf season is in full effect here.
Yeah, it's a frosty 78 degrees outside.
Is it 78 now?
Something like that, yeah.
It's
66.
It's 67.
It's chilly for us Southern California folk.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys believe in style over function? In fashion over function? I do, for the most part.
I'm
not a big fashion guy.
To an
You
extent.
got some swag, Mike.
The only thing about fashion that I really am particular about is a chick's shoes. If they wear bad shoes, I'm like,
Yeah.
Bad how?
As in like their choice in shoes and how they wear them. Like, there's two people, like I'm all into Air Maxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two girls can be wearing the same exact Air Maxes, but if they don't know how to wear them right, it's a what's the word? It's a deal breaker for me.
Wait, so how do you wear those shoes incorrect?
Well, it's the way the pants are. If how it's like some people know how to wear them with the laces knotted. Some know how to lace it so that you don't have to make the knot.
Yeah.
And whether you wear like capri or how you wear them with your sweats, whether they're overlapping your tongue or under the tongue and all that.
I see.
If they know how to make it look cool, then I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Or if they wear, but it's not just Air Maxes. Like if they're choice in shoes, I'm like, I don't dig like the strappy Roman looking shoes.
I hate
Like
those.
the gladiator.
I hate those with a passion.
Yeah.
God.
So like, it's shoe choice for me is big.
Yeah, there's some.
Are we talking about like for ourselves or for like other people?
Screw it, both. How about that?
Well, I mean, for myself to an extent, yes, because I don't like being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, for example, my jean choices, all my jeans have to have stretched denim in them.
Yeah.
I don't have the freaking smallest legs because I actually squat.
Leg day.
But so I ain't fitting these in like jeans that don't stretch at all. And I ain't about walking around when it's like 90 degrees outside in that summer heat and I'm starting to sweat and things are like, it's not comfortable. So to an extent, I feel like I've been able to find a pretty good balance in like a lot of the my style choices to be functional but still trendy.
Yeah, I feel you.
And for other people, I mean, I think if like when it comes to like females, if that's what we're going to be talking about, I mean, there are certain things that I look for. But again, everybody has their own
opinions and what they like and what they don't.
What's a deal breaker as far as fashion goes for a girl?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh man, why you got to put me on the spot like that, dude? For fashion, dude, I don't even know. Couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now.
Come on, there has to be something. Well, something that's just so
Birkenstocks.
Wait, what? What?
Birkenstocks?
Birkenstocks? What are those?
Those leather sandals.
Leather sandals, Birkenstocks. I got to look this up. I live under a rock, Mike. Birkenstocks.
Yeah, but those things are like, those are those and Crocs. The original, what are those?
I was just about to like talk about Crocs. Oh my God, yeah. Oh yeah, these are horrible. Never mind. Yeah, Crocs. Yeah, like I've always.
Sorry, I was just thinking like, what would be a real deal breaker for me is if a girl's like wearing like some crazy high heels, just like for no reason. And like the crazy thing is I've seen it like, and I feel like these are the same girls that have like the designer bags that go everywhere and just like really like put it out there. Like they're overly sized and I don't really care. I don't really care for that. It's kind of like trying too hard.
There's a lot of weird fashions coming out of like, like K-pop culture, I feel, and in like the Japanese culture. Yeah. And then I'll see them over here while rocking it. And like, I'm like, y'all have an interesting style of swag that I don't particularly get right now.
I mean, like for me, you guys have been around me long enough to know that my personal style is very minimalistic. I don't really care too much for a lot of logos. So I feel like if a female in particular, or anyone really, is rocking like a big name brand, has a big like, the best example I could give is anytime I see like guys like wear like the Louis Vuitton like drivers and they have the big LV initials, like, all right, dude, like, all right.
Yeah, because okay, so you're paying $9,000 for some Louis Vuitton shirt or something like that. It's a stupid buy because it's so blaringly obvious that like the logos are out there that you can't wear it again and again and again because they'll be able to call you out and say that you don't have enough clothes because you're still wearing that same shirt, you know?
You know what it is for me more so? It's kind of like, the best example I can kind of relate this to is like, because we lift. So when you achieve a certain...
Speak for yourself.
Well, you're gonna.
Mike is low key strong. People don't even know.
Mike says he's got that retard strength. But I mean, like you'll get it too. It's like I think when you get to a certain point, like you have the size. People can just tell. People can tell, like, oh man, that guy's like big. He can lift, or he's strong, whatever. People just tell. You don't have to wear a cutoff or anything like that. You could be in like a looser shirt, and people just know. So I kind of view like my personal fashion sense or style is to be kind of the same way. Like you don't got to be spending like crazy absurd amount on things and to say like, hey, I got a LV this and LV that, or Gucci this and what, Tom Ford this. I don't know. I'm very like minimal to, a lot of what I go after. I don't feel the need to have to put it out there and say, look what I got.
Yeah.
People just know. It's part of like the overall presence of yourself, I think, when you're talking about like class and
right.
That's just my opinion of it though.
And with those,
it's almost like how I see it is you're trying a little bit too hard and it goes to like a self-esteem thing where like you have to present like
like you're peacocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if it's too extravagant, I feel like it's exposing some type of insecurity. And
yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, is insecurity.
Yeah, and I mean, and some people are like sharks and they could smell that blood from a mile away.
Yeah.
I sure as hell can.
Yeah. So that's just, I mean, again, that's just my personal opinion and how it relates to my personal like style, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I'm a damn hypocrite because I also have an outlandish Dolce & Gabbana backpack, so.
I didn't want to bring that one up, but yeah.
Dolce & Gabbana backpack of all things.
With a big old logo.
That's all tagged up. That's probably on the most outlandish thing that I own.
Yeah, but you know what? The more and more I see it, the more and more practical it becomes to me because it's like, I feel like for those types of items, it's okay to go outlandish on those. Like, okay, like me, for example, I have a Louis Vuitton wallet, which I didn't buy, thank God. It was a gift, but it cost a lot of money. But it's not something that you see out there as far as, on my figure. And so if I pull it out, it's cool, but it's not out there all the time.
Yeah, it's a little bit more low key.
Exactly. And so like,
it's practical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like a backpack or some luggage,
Yeah. Damn. Thanks, Mike. Mike was secretly judging me this whole time. Not like saying anything.
Judging you. I was just like, wait a minute.
Hey, I admit
but I didn't want to put you on Front Street. And
I had that and you've had that for months too.
Yeah.
So he's been judging you for months.
No. The thing is like he's had it for months. I know people who would have something like that and then change it out every other week.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm actually legitimately using this thing and like beating it because I don't really. I mean, it's nice, but like it's just a material thing, dude. You gotta use it for what it's made for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, it's like okay, I do a lot of photography, and it's having like the nicest camera bag. You want it because it's it's functional, and when it's just a shirt, it's different.
Yeah,
but when it's a backpack that actually has the right pockets and the right kind of zippers that you like and
you're
it's
okay
comfortable,
spending a little bit more for like the utility of it. I guess in this case of my backpack, it's a little bit more of a fashion piece,
dude.
But I still use it for like mean, you guys see me walk in with it like every day.
Yeah.
Like wallets, for example, like you bring up your LV wallet, it was a gift, but I love a wallet that's super functional for what I use it for.
Right.
Right. And I went through not hundreds, maybe like, like 20 wallets before I found one I really liked. And it ended up being the more expensive one that out of the lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's okay to spend, even if it is a name brand, if it works and for you and it does the function that you want it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with shoes. Like shoes, if I'm willing to spend more money on shoes if they're more comfortable than something else, or I'm willing to spend really cheap on shoes if they're more comfortable than something else, as long as they look good.
Well, it kind of goes to like that saying of like you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's certain things where you just kind of have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where it does make sense to invest in, and it might be a name brand, and some other people might look at it and be like, "Oh, you're just paying for the name." Well, I mean, yeah,
partially,
but
yeah.
there's a reason.
Yeah.
I feel at the end of the day too. So. But again, that's just my opinion. What I believe. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, hell, well, let's be honest, if I was at a point in life as to where I could flex for no reason other than just to flex, I definitely would. But from a practical standpoint, it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do love those like times as to where I do buy something that is expensive and it lives up to its price.
Mm.
Like, well, last month I had to buy a couple pairs of jeans. And let me just tell you, I spent like $300 on 2 pairs of jeans. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I spent this much money on jeans, but like I could do spin kicks in them, bro. I could do spin kicks in them and they look immaculate. And I'm like, wow, all right.
Put them on, you become a kung fu master.
Low key.
Let me get at that, man.
Low key. I don't like to talk about it, but I'll talk about it off air with you. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that we agree that there is a middle ground of fashion and function. So yeah,
I think so.
Swag. Damn, guys. So we are on episode 15. Of the Jadacast podcast.
Wow.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
It's crazy, man. I feel like I'll still be saying that on like episode 300.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It's like every episode we're like, wow, we're still on. We're still doing this. But it's fun. I like it.
Yeah. It's a nice break in the day.
For not only that, I think this podcast is really rewarding for me because I'm not a very good public speaker. I'm not a very good person. Mike
is being humble.
No,
right there,
but I'm serious.
Well, because I've seen him at a few presentations. He's great.
No, well,
he's great.
It helps me to be more relaxed when I do these presentations because when my position, I do have to do quite a few presentations to some pretty high level people, and to tell you the truth, being in front of the camera is just as intimidating as being in front of one of those high-powered people. The only difference is you're not going to be asked questions after. But as long as you know your stuff, you should be fine. But the hardest part about doing a presentation is, coming up with all the verbiage that you're going to be talking about, all the things you want to say, and doing it eloquently. And you can prepare for a presentation, but for this, we wing it.
Yeah.
So this helps because when we do go in front of these people and do presentations, then they ask questions, then it turns into like top of the head mode where you just have to start.
It's almost like rehearsal.
Yeah. This is and it helps a lot. And and it's super rewarding and thank you for putting this together because I think it's a really good tool for us to grow. Not only as a company, but as individuals as well.
I am, and I appreciate it. Well, like I always say thank you because if I didn't have you, Daryl, or Brian, I wouldn't have anything. So yeah.
What are you talking about?
I wouldn't. I can't do this by myself. I'm the damn host, and I stutter.
No, but that's the thing. I think that's. Another way it's maybe I'm not sure I'm just kind of speaking from what I see from your perspective. Mm-hmm. It's a good way for you to attack that stuttering problem.
Oh yeah,
even though you're embracing it, but then you're owning it.
Yes, definitely,
which is awesome.
Yeah,
and I think that's strong. It shows the the strong personality you have, because you're taking what you have and showing that it doesn't matter, and you can host the show.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, that's a nice point of view too. And like for me personally, it's interesting because even though I do have a stuttering problem, I've actually enjoyed public speaking on many occasions. In high school and college, actually, I had to do a lot of public speaking. Well, actually, in the 8th grade, I was actually our school's president.
What?
Yeah. And I had to give a public speech to 700 students, and dude, I nailed it, and it was so. I feel so bad for doing this, but like, so my opponent at the time, and this was back in 2007 or 2007 or 2008. My closing line of my speech was, I'm wrapping it up, and the person is there in front of me who I have to go against, and I say, everyone, I want you to understand that a vote for this person, XX name, is like a vote for George Bush. And back then, everybody hated George Bush because of just, everything. And the whole freaking auditorium erupted for like 5 minutes, and I just felt like all the power, all the power. I felt like Thanos as soon as he got all 6 Infinity Stones. But just to go back to, I love to public speak, even though I do have a stuttering problem. But sometimes when I am public speaking, it disappears.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun to put yourself out there and to get uncomfortable, but learn how to be comfortable while being uncomfortable.
So I think I have a story that's kind of in contrast to what your story was. And I think this is one of the reasons why I am a little bit not shy about public speaking, but it's just like I have this weird, like, timid feeling whenever I talk in front of people. It's because back in when I was just out of elementary school going to junior high for the first time, 7th grade, I had to do a speech in front of a class, and it wasn't a lot of people, maybe 40 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was killing it. And at the end, when I said my thank you, I said thank you, and a snot just dropped, and I slurped it, and I slurped it right back up as fast as I could.
Ooh.
And this was in front of everyone. I was just shocked. I was like, wow. And that's like in the back of my head every time I talk in front of people. So it's kind of one of those things that, like, it just kind of affected me. Traumatized the whole, so yeah, that's one of the things that I had to get over.
And was it like a long strand?
Dude, it hit my bottom lip.
Oh man.
Oh, this couldn't have happened to a better person.
I didn't know this. This is the first time I'm hearing about
Yeah.
this.
It's the first time talking about it, actually.
Damn. Podpad confessions.
But yeah, no, that's a traumatizing experience I had back when I was in 7th grade, talking in front of people.
Yeah, man.
I don't think I've ever had I don't know. I've never really had a.
Well, dang, dude, I just heard that you killed it at your alma mater.
Yes, he did.
I mean, nah, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, the professor came up to me at the end of it. He was like, "Dude, you can really talk." And I was like, "Well,
Too much."
I think so, because I took up like the whole damn class. But no, I told him. I mean, it's part of the job.
Yeah,
it's part of the profession, and being able to give proper presentations, to be able to public speak, and things like that. So, after doing it for a few times, it becomes like, it's almost like regurgitating.
Yeah.
Like the same thing.
But then you just modify it every time, just do it a little bit different every time you go up. And, do you think this pod helped you?
For sure. I mean, I think when it comes to like a lot of what we do for the buyer meetings, or any licensor meetings and things like that, it's good, like I said, rehearsal for a lot of those meetings. But in the talk for the class at my alma mater at Cal Poly, it was just more
Pomona,
kinda-
not San Luis.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
under-
Southern California people.
Yeah. So it's like, you kind of talk about a little bit about yourself, and then the company, and then, your position, what you do, what you're responsible for. So I look at it as, at the end of the day, I'm really talking about what I already know.
So, though, did you, in this talk with your alma mater, did you mention the podcast?
Yeah.
Did you mention me?
You were the highlight.
Shut up.
You were the highlight.
Mike had a little twinkle in his eye. Did you mention me?
I had one slide dedicated to
Me? No.
I had one slide dedicated to the Jadacast, and it was a clip that Jordan had put together, and it actually features you talking about like what we look for in the creation of our product. See,
Okay.
give you a shout out.
Just kidding.
They know, they were there.
Yeah.
So-
And that shout out actually promoted a nice little spike to the Jadacast.
Oh, really?
So
Oh yeah,
yeah, so
that's cool.
thank you
I
for
used
that.
it as a shameless plug opportunity too.
Yeah. I mean, you're in marketing. You got to look for those opportunities.
Yeah. So, I mean, but when it comes down to like the presentation and public speaking aspect of it, I think if at the end of the day you're confident and you know what you're going to be talking about, and for me, at least in that presentation, is talking about the company and yourself, like there's really, I don't feel any reason to be nervous because you already know
Yeah.
what you're going to be talking about. So,
You know what's also cool about this podcast though? It's like because it's recorded, we get to re-listen to it, and then you can it's kind of like watching tape if you're in sports.
Yes.
Or watching your golf swing recorded, so you can see where your faults are, and so you can change them and fix them
Yes.
for the next one.
yeah.
Well, personally speaking, I think that for me, because I have to go back and to edit these, and so I'll listen to a sentence a million times, just chopping it up and everything. And I think that for me personally, the biggest improvement I'm still trying to make is like, as a host, I feel like you have to get to the point, but also try to make sure that you're not falling in love with the sound of your own voice. Put your ego aside and just say what you got to say quickly, and we'll let the actual professionals say what they will say what they have to say.
Right.
And so for me, I'm trying to get. I'm trying to sharpen it up a little bit more for me.
Oh no,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
and I think after it started, I think we've seen the growth, and I think all of us have changed. Like the way I remember the first one, we were just kind of nervous. We're all like, what do we talk about?
Well, it's our first one. I
Yeah.
think that's normal.
We had cliff notes on what
Yeah.
we wanted to talk about. Yeah. Now we're just winging it. We just go out there and and just start talking, and I think it comes out pretty cool. And see, it feels more natural too because now we're just talking more freely,
Yes.
and it doesn't sound scripted because it isn't.
No.
And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we're just talking off the top of our heads. We have no idea what the topics that Jordan's going to be coming up with. And we just like kind of flow from there.
Yeah.
We're more comfortable. We've definitely found our flow as far as how the Jadacast is presented and things like that. So, but that's everything that we knew would come in time.
Yeah.
So it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Yeah. We recorded in Vegas last week, and my wife was watching, and she says, "You guys like turn on a switch when you guys started recording, and we seem different from when we were just talking prior to the camera being turned on."
Yeah.
Oh, we have to.
Yeah, and she said it's just like it was odd because you're the same people, but all of a sudden the room just kind of lifted. It felt more energetic, as soon as you guys started recording.
Yeah, and you know what I kind of equate that to is like, so like when you're around people that you're comfortable with, it's very easy to be, you fall into this trap of comfortability where because you guys already know each other, you're just like really, really chill.
Yeah.
But then when you get up and to do like a presentation in front of everybody, you get into like this state of mind where you have to rise and elevate yourself and to that kind of what you were saying is just like turn it on.
Yeah.
Right. You kind of have to flip that switch.
Yeah.
I still remember like before we even filmed that podcast at the Airbnb in Vegas, we were all so tired.
Yeah.
We were all like, oh man, we got to film a podcast. And then the podcast comes on. We're like, hey, like, so,
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
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 Yep.
So, I mean, a lot of it, a lot goes into it. But like I said, I think we've been able to find like our groove when it comes to this thing, and it's like I said, man, it's been fun.
And I think also that speaks, what you were mentioning is it speaks to the point when you do presentations in front of like an audience or a big customer or a client, you need to make sure that they feel the excitement that you're feeling.
Yeah, to give off that energy, right?
Yeah.
And now, Jesus, my phone.
So popular.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like you're responsible for communicating or at least kind of giving off this good vibe, this good energy, right? So like in the presentation of Cal Poly, I asked you guys at the end, hey, did I make it seem very glamorous? Because part of it also is like the energy that you're able to give off of like, look how cool my job is. You guys are on the right career track if this is what you want to be doing. Or when you should be presenting how exciting it is.
Yeah, and if you're presenting a product to a buyer, you want to get them excited about it. And if you're kind of lethargic and talking about, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, this, you have to, that's not selling it.
Yeah.
Your energy helps sell the product. You have to show that you're enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that you have to learn how to do. And this is one of the things that this podcast is really teaching us.
Yes. Yeah. From a business standpoint, I've read a lot of great CEOs say like, I don't buy a business, I buy people, and what I always mean by that is that, I'm buying personalities, I'm buying energy.
Yeah.
I don't care about your product, I care about who is behind that product.
Yeah.
Because that is so much more important. And then after that, everything else follows.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was a good icebreaker. That was a good icebreaker. One more thing too, on public speaking, something I've noticed too is that, I feel like when you're up there talking and the audience is listening, I feel like deep down they're hoping that you nail it too. I don't think that like anybody in the audience really wants to laugh or see anybody fail at public speaking because it's one of like I think it's like the top two human fears that like every single human being has.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they're able to sort of empathize with the person up there, and they're like, man, if I was up there, I would hate it if somebody started to laugh at me or something like that.
For sure. That's what I think about.
Well, when you're in the audience and someone's crashing at a presentation, you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No one wants to feel that uncomfortable feeling, even if you're just in the audience.
Yeah.
So you're rooting for these people to do a good job because you want to be entertained, you want to be informed, you want to be interested in what they have to say. But if they're failing at it, you don't want to keep going with it. It just makes you feel really weird and uncomfortable, and you just want to have it done.
Yeah. And I've actually seen presentations go crash, and like the crowd actually like starts clapping and like trying to give some positive reinforcement. And then I see that, I'm like, okay, well, there's still some hope for mankind,
And I think if you have that mentality though, that you go in and knowing that people want you to succeed, then it's a little bit easier because it's not people wanting you to fail. I think more people want you to succeed than fail.
It's nice.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that they're going to be rooting for you.
Yeah. Sure. Well, humans are awesome sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for all of the so we know what you guys are here for. It's not just our three beautiful faces, but it's also for the awesome cars that we are able to bring to y'all. So what do we have on the table here, guys? My favorite cars.
It's our Honda Civic Type R. It's
hatchback.
Hatchback, yeah. EK.
Hatchback. EK. Okay.
Yep.
So why are these so special?
Well, for one,
VTEC, yo.
Hey.
For as long, I mentioned this a lot. I've been at Jada for a long time. We haven't had the Honda license for many, many years.
Yeah.
And our first Honda license was actually the S2000 and the NSX.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are expanding on that by releasing the Honda Civic. So it's exciting because this is my era that I grew up wanting, and all the kids that were starting to drive at 16 years of age, this is the car that they wanted because it was obtainable, it was affordable, there was a lot of aftermarket parts. And I think we really captured that look of how they were fixing up these cars back when I was growing up.
It's clean. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, we got the 6-spoke deep wheels. There's it's just the red seats. I think it looks super clean because it's not overly done, not a crazy body kit. It's just exactly how you would see it on the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so as far as like, any type of customizable features that this car will have, what could you go into that maybe?
Well, one of the things that we do here is that we like to play with the toys that we create also. So we'll do our own wheel swaps here because we'd like to see what it would look like, not only with the type of wheel, but also the color. So on this white one, this white Honda Civic, on the other side, I put 2 4-spoke wheels, but in red, because one of my friends had a white Civic just like it, lowered with a red rim with chrome lip. And that's what I wanted to see what it looked like because I loved that car, just that look, because it was like really true JDM style that I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked awesome. So I just wanted to kind of mimic that just to see what it looks like. So maybe we would release something similar in the future.
It's like Photoshop in real life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because we have access to all the wheels that we've created in the past, even new wheels that we're creating for the future. We have some of those samples here, and we get to play around with fitment and wheel choices for all the different cars and see what works.
It's a lot of, yeah.
But then the thing is also there's some wheels that are specific to certain cars that you shouldn't be putting on other cars. Like there's a Shelby wheel. You wouldn't want to put a Shelby wheel on a Camaro, although one did get out. Or something like that. I don't know. There was a Ford wheel that went on a Chevy, I think, or vice versa. That wasn't supposed to happen, and I don't know. I think it was a mix-up inside the factory somewhere.
Those things happen.
Yeah, those things happen, but they're out there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's happened in the past.
Okay, chase car alert.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been having a few people actually send us on Instagram some pictures of some chases that they've been finding. And I'm like,
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. We like hearing about that kind of stuff.
yeah. Well, somebody had a 510 with some blue rims on it. And I'm like, blue rims, eh? How?
It wasn't someone that custom?
Nah,
No?
like he had it in a box and everything.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, how did that happen?
That's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Because sometimes, I've seen this happen a lot, where someone buys something from the store, they'll swap the car out, or they want just the rims and they swap the rims out, and then they return it to the store and then get their money back. Now they got the rims that they really wanted.
Oh, that's some scumbag stuff.
Yeah. It's pretty shady stuff. But yeah, I've seen that happen. I've seen, like, the worst I've seen was like a Hot Wheel in a Jada package. That was
What?
That was yeah. It happens.
All right.
I'm in an action figure scene too.
Yeah.
Swap out parts, swap out figures for older figures.
Damn, how low can you go?
Yeah, because they know that, like, these big box stores don't really know a lot about the product that they're returning, so they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty shady. That's messed up.
Well, I don't think that any of our fans are doing stuff like that because y'all are the real MVPs. But but for anybody out there who would, just know that whatever you believe in, God, Zeus, I don't know, but you will have a lightning bolt coming your way someday, somehow. It's coming.
Karma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially I don't want to name any other companies, but but don't be putting their stuff inside of our boxes. I won't say it.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens. It's crazy.
Okay, so we've spoken about this in the past before, but I think I'm a little bit of a better host now, and so maybe I could ask better questions to get to deeper answers. So Mike, and Daryl too, but Mike, in a step-by-step guide. Well, because it's kind of a product.
I'm here for the ride.
Hey. So in a step-by-step guide, I'm talking like from detail to detail, if you can, educate everybody on how a highly coveted car gets created. I'm talking all the way from be like, hey guys, So we're going to make this all the way to the 3D printing, all the way to, the licensing and stuff like that, all the way to, all right, here it is. Well, go buy it at Target or Walmart or whoever, So like so pretty much from like that single-celled organism all the way to a fully grown human,
Yeah.
What is that process like?
So we we have our JDM tuners line, we have our Just Trucks, Big Time Muscle, hyperchargers, and Fast and Furious. So whenever we start developing a product, we look at these brands and we start talking about like what casting should we bring, what new vehicle should we bring into these lines, right? So let's say, for example, the Civic. We have the Honda license now. Honda is a big player in the custom scene, especially in the JDM scene. Why don't we do a Civic? So we mull around and talk about which Civic we want to do. There's the 92s, there's the even older ones, there's the new Honda Civics that are out now. Where do we want to go? And we just kind of mull around and we start debating whether or not which one we should do, and we vote on it or whatever. Once we figure it out, then we say, hey, this is what we want to do. We hand it over to licensing to try to get that vehicle license so we can recreate it in diecast form or RC form. So once we get the okay from the car manufacturer, then we ask them either for CAD data or we draw it ourselves in 2D. We call it an orthographic, where we do the front, the side, the top, the back, the bottom. We detail out the engine, we detailed out the interior, and from there we take that and send it over to our 3D department, which will then put it into a digital 3D form.
Yes.
That digital 3D form comes back to us, and we send it out to the licensor, in this case Honda, and they'll look it over, tell us if there's anything wrong with the 3D file, with the design. The wing's too big, the hood is too long, this window is too short. They give us all this feedback, and they approve it, disapprove it, give us comments. We change it up until everyone's happy with it. From that point, we turn that 3D into a form that you can hold. We usually call it the clay. But now with today's technology, it's not made out of clay anymore. It's a 3D print. We can go really low resolution, which means it's like just a lot of it just looks really messy. You just get a kind of basic idea of what the shape is. Or we can go super high res where it looks like almost a finished product, just not polished. That has to then also go to the licensor, which is Honda, and they have to look that over, make sure everything looks good. Because in 3D form, when you're holding it in your hand, it's much different from a flat 2D, 3D file. If you know what I'm saying, when it's on screen, it looks different from when you're actually holding it in your hand.
Yeah, the tangibility.
Yeah,
what makes everything different.
Oh yeah. Because also there's perspective problems in the 3D files that you can't really tell how big wheels are and all this stuff. So,
yes.
From there, once that's approved, then we go into what's called a hand sample, which is basically a full. It's exactly the same as the final form, but done all in plastic. So it has the opening doors, it has the hood opening, it has the engine details, it has the motor details, just not painted. It's all colored either gray or whatever color the factory decides to make it. And then we go through that, make sure all the fitment's correct, like the door jambs are nice and tight, the hinges work right, all the details are correct, and that again will go over to Honda and they'll approve it, and then get it back to us. And then from there we do the first diecast version, which is called the first shot. And then that one's, again, not painted, but it's actually all the diecast pieces are going to be diecast. And it looks very similar to what the final product will be, just not painted.
Yes.
And then that gets approved. Once that's approved, then we go into production. And then we receive what's called a PPS, pre-production sample, which is it's kind of the first off the product line. Once it's done, that's done. This is like a copy of it before we actually go into mass production of the product, and that's sent again to Honda for them to approve. And once that's approved, then we go into mass production, and that's basically the lifeline of a product.
And that whole timeline is about
6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months, eh?
Yep.
Wow. Well, that's a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of like waiting around in between for approvals, because the approval part can take a long time, because there might be a lot of little things. And what tends to happen is you send it over, or even when the 3D department sends it to us, we make comments and we send it back, and then they send it back to us updated. We may notice more things that are wrong. We don't notice everything in the first go typically. We try to notice as much as we can, but sometimes it takes a change in one other part to reveal the issue in the second part. So it happens a lot. So there's a lot of back and forth during this approval process.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but could you name maybe a specific car as to where it was very tough, to get it through?
Oh man, typically the cars that have also an entertainment license attached to it is going to be difficult, because not only do you have the car manufacturer, you got the theatrical department, like say a Warner Brothers or a Universal having to approve it. But it's not only the theatrical department; it's also their product development or consumer product department that has to approve it as well. So there's 3 layers of approvals that you have to go through, not just one.
Damn.
So and there's so much. It's like colors and are the rims the right size? There's so much that you have to pay attention to. Are the logos in the right spot? When it's an entertainment license, is the license plate the correct? Have the correct numbers. It's really crazy. It gets really involved.
Damn. And so some rings of fire, to jump through, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's pretty dope though.
It's a fun process, because, and imagine we're not only doing one of these. We're probably working at about 20, 30 different products at the same time, and this is all happening constantly throughout the year. So at any one time, there's at least 30, 40 vehicles being approved at different stages throughout the year, just from the vehicle department. And then if you go into our figural department, there's even more, because each figure in the nano figs line and each figure in the nano or the metal figs line, they all have to go maybe to different departments. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff flowing through back and forth.
And then especially if you're starting to have to deal with like the likeness of a character.
Oh,
like for example, if we made a bunch of like Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Well, Superman.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he's not Superman anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that
must be a
that's
tough
I
hurdle.
don't know if we want to talk about this too much, but like for example, when we released the NBA stuff. It's like it's really hard to do sports, because when we do figures for sports, that athlete may not be playing for the same team by the time it's released, because it does take 9 months to get out.
Yeah.
So if they're not, then that athlete is obsolete in that outfit. And I don't care if, usually people say, oh, that's more collectible. Typically not. You're not going to sell a lot of that product, because that's not the team. Either the team that he left is pissed off that they left, or nobody wants to buy. They want to buy what the new team that he's on.
And the entire fan base is pissed off that he left too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so from a marketing standpoint, how do you market? You're like, hey, so we're going to be selling you this guy in this jersey, even though even though he doesn't play for us anymore.
And also doing sports, it's a regional thing. Not everyone, like if you're going to do something, a Boston Celtics figure, right? You're not going to sell that in LA. No LA person's going to buy a Boston Celtics figure. Right?
Yeah.
You're only going to be able to sell that in Boston or in or around Boston.
It's pretty intricate.
Yeah. So that's why sports is really, really difficult to get into.
Interesting. Well, and so in the earlier process of even choosing which cars or figures to do, so that's all done internally, or is that also done with like the licensors giving the feedback of what they would like to see as well?
Entertainment licensors tell us what they want to see, because they know what their marketing is going to be like throughout the year. So,
Mhm.
or like if there's like a movie coming out, they said, okay, this movie you should do product for, and this is the vehicle that's going to be prominent. So that they give us suggestions, and it's not only the licensors though; it's also the buyers. The buyers will say, hey, this is a hot product, you should do this, or we're hearing a lot of chatter from different companies that this is the car that should be on shelf. Why don't you guys go after this vehicle?
Yes.
So they give us a lot of insight as from their perspective, which is always good. It's crazy because at SEMA recently we have guys who sell to hobby market, and we have people who sell to the mass. And what the hobby market sees is totally different from the mass market. The what's popular for the two are totally different,
Hmm.
and it's crazy how different it is. Because one side they'll mass market, they like a lot of flames and detail. In the hobby market, this guy's market, they said, oh, no flames, do solid colors. That's what's selling for us. So it's hard to figure out exactly what we want to do, but typically we'll lean towards the mass because that's does the volume for us.
Yes. Okay. And are there any similarities in the feedback that you get from say for example fans and partners, or is it usually a totally different type of contrast?
For the most part, they're about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of it that's similar. Because I think a lot of the trends are dictated by the mass market, but hardcore collectors, like their own thing, and I think their little culture dictates the trends within their market.
Mm-hmm.
So it is different, but sometimes they do match, especially when there's like an entertainment license coming out, like the next Fast and Furious movie, that will blanket collector and mass for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you brought up the collector aspect because I wanted to ask, why is being a collector such a sacred practice?
So I think collectors have a emotional connection to whatever they're collecting.
Okay.
So having that emotional connection makes them feel like it's their own. They have some kind of part of it. They feel kind of protective of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start to badmouth the collectors' items that they like, then they become a little more like defensive about it, because it's something that they either grew up with, or it's something that they're really into emotionally. Some people are just like hardcore crazy that they just have to have everything of everything, like hoarders. They just like can't let go of things. But I think but even them, there's an emotional connection, and if you try to take that stuff away from them, they get really angry. So I think that's kind of, it's a hoarding mentality, I think, with collectors.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think. I don't know if is that the question you're asking.
Pretty much. Well, but you answered it, even though I didn't know how to ask it properly.
Well, that's how I see it. It's almost like and then once it gets too popular, some collectors will shy away from it because it's almost like that. Oh, I like this underground band, but now they're too popular, and they don't like them anymore because it's their own little thing that they thought they were the only ones that really were into it.
But that's always been sort of a weird mentality to me.
Yeah.
It's one thing if they sell out and their music starts to suck.
Yeah.
Like, okay, bounce. But
Yeah.
if everybody likes them, but their music is still rock solid.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm sticking around.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the thing that just people like to be the first to market, or just being the first one to do it. Like, like there's a shirt that I thought was funny. I used to listen to Hanson when they were underground. That's pretty cool. But imagine, like if Hans, like if you were into Hanson before they became really popular,
Yeah.
And then they gained the popularity. Then you kind of see like people started making fun of them because they were so popular and the kind of music they were. And then you started to feel like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have been listening to these guys because the general public doesn't really like them as a whole.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
they become, there's a stigma that is attached to getting really, really popular. And when they were underground, you feel more. I mean, Hanson was never underground, but it was just a joke shirt.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, using it as an example. You know, when they're underground, not as many people liked them, but the people who did like them were purely liked them because of what they were,
Yes. Okay,
and not influenced by outside people.
yeah. People like to feel exclusive.
Yeah.
They like to feel, a part of a sacred club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes these sacred clubs get really, really big. Like the Funko stuff. Like everyone loves those things, and they're doing a kick butt job at feeding that line and making all those collectors happy.
Well, I don't know a better place to end the podcast than right there. Got you good, Daryl?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe next
Way
time
to
we'll do a
kill
whole
it, Mike.
marketing. We'll do a whole marketing thing next time.
You know what? I mean, I do have some extra questions, but I know that people have work to do and stuff.
Oh, I'm hungry.
It's about that
What time
time.
is it? Oh, damn! It's 12:09.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! All right, so yeah, so we had to get out of here. All right, everybody. So that was episode 15 of the Jadacast podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, share it with a friend. Another thing like I've been slacking off on is our podcast needs a theme song.
Oh yeah. I was thinking about that.
Yeah. So if anybody out there is of the musical arts talent, we'll
Or
send
not.
or not.
Yeah.
Just send us over
whatever you can do.
Yeah, just send us
come up with
over a
something.
theme song that you've made. I will personally give you credit every time that it plays on our podcast as an intro for us, and we'll send it to us either in an Instagram or on Facebook, and it could be our intro. And cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So we are the voice of the toy industry, and we will see you next week. I'm Jordan,
I'm Daryl.
I'm Mike.
and peace out.
Sat there for like fucking half an hour.